Hey everyone, it is Tea Time with the Diva. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, because we're going to get into it. This tea time is dedicated to the actor Terrence Howard. Terrence tells a story of how, Diddy tried to get with him, but he said he just said no. You know how they said Diddy wants to party, and you just got to tell Diddy no. Well, Terrence Howard is one of those that just told Diddy no. Let me share a screen so we could go ahead and get right into the story. So Terrence Howard, Diddy tried to F me, but I kept my man card. Let's take a listen.
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there, and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers coming to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back.
The one thing I hate is when they say, when you approach a real man. I don't think your sexuality has anything to do with whether you're a real woman or a real man, because at the end of the day, I've seen some men that I know like men. And honey, when it comes down and get down for the get down, if they got to punch you out, they will punch you out. I really, don't like when people use that particular reference, right? But anyway, I get what he was trying to say. I just wish he would have used better words to say it. So Terrence Howard just gave a glimpse into what he said was the dark side of Hollywood. And one example he used from his personal experience was none other than Diddy. The film and TV actor was a recent guest on Patrick Bet Davis' PBD podcast, where he claimed he was targeted by Diddy for sex under the guise of coaching. Terrence Howard doesn't say exactly when this alleged attempt by Diddy occurred, but claims he was invited to Diddy's place when the music mogul asked Terrence Howard for acting lessons. Terrence claims Diddy had no material to work on and just stared at me a while before asking Terrence to play some music. Again, just to stare at him. Nothing was accomplished. When Diddy invited him to come back for another time, Terrence Howard said he realized Diddy only wanted to have sex with him. To be clear, he didn't accuse Diddy of any wrongdoing. Terrence said a lot of people give up their man card to make it in Hollywood and become successful, but he refused to do so at any point. Nonetheless, to say Patrick was taken aback by the story since he didn't even mention Diddy, but did ask about the darker side of the business. They put a word out, because anytime they do these stories, they put a word out to Diddy's reps and to see what type of comment they will get. I want to say this. Diddy is who he is. And I will say this about anyone. If you live your life out loud, so to speak, and not in the dark and behind closed doors, I think you have a better chance of living a good life that won't come back to haunt you. I think Diddy liked who he liked. And perhaps I can't say I don't know Diddy. Perhaps Diddy was bisexual. And if he is, I'm saying, what's the big deal? It's your business. It's your life. Live your life authentically. And when you're able to do that and not hide who you are and keep secrets make you sick. When you're able to do that and live authentically, you probably have a better life. So I think Diddy, in addition to him, I think it was just not about him, his sexuality, so to speak. I think it was about him also having a sex addiction. And then I think on top of the sex addiction, I believe, and kind of from everything you hear about him with these drugs, so to speak, he had a drug addiction too. So when you mix multiple addictions together, it's just a recipe for disaster. And I'm not victim blaming, but I do want to say this. Like Terrence said, he said no. People, I feel, had the opportunity to say no, but perhaps they said yes, and then afterwards they regretted their yes. I think Diddy has no boundaries. I think if the line is here, not only does he cross the line, he goes all the way over the line, and he will keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you yourself said enough is enough. At some point, and I'm not saying that Cassie was or was not a victim, we're having a conversation here. At some point, Cassie did leave. So in my mind, I say to myself, what was the difference from the day, I guess, if you want to say he allowed you to leave, versus the days where you said you were trapped and couldn't leave? Was the only difference that you yourself decided, like, okay, I had enough? I don't know. We're having a conversation here, people, so let's not get crazy with the conversation. It's just thoughts in my head. So now he's in the ultimate trouble. I don't know how this is going to pan out, the Diddy trial. And the reason why I'm still thinking about it in my mind is because I've seen so many cases. You're thinking because of all the evidence they have, it's going to go one way, but with the best lawyers, it ends up going another way. I think of the YSL case. Think of the ASAP Rocky case. And again, I'm not alluding to or saying that any of these people were more innocent than guilty or more guilty than innocent. I'm just thinking about the cases where you just thought it was going to be a slam dunk and these people are walking free. I think about the O.J. Simpson case. So that's the only reason why I'm saying I don't know how this Diddy case is going to go. I think what is better for the public, even though I would love to see it, especially, because I do this YouTube channel here, I think it's going to be better for the public, the fact that this thing is not, there's no cameras in there. Because I think if there was cameras, we would have, however long this trial is going to take in May, we would have a whole full circus. So the best we're going to get is the commentary from the reporters that are inside the courtroom and the sketches that we see. Because they said his appearance in the last court date that he had when he went into the courtroom, his appearance was so different. Like he was like white like Diva in terms of his hair being gray. And they said he was a little thicker. I would love it if cameras were allowed just so I could get an actual visual of the puppy that's behind bars versus the puppy that Diddy, the brother love that, we saw before he was behind bars. I will say this to everybody, because this doesn't just happen in the entertainment industry. A lot of times your soul, you're selling your soul to the devil for what you think is the greater good and for what you think you want at the time. I'm talking about even in corporate America. I'm talking about at Target, Walmart. I'm talking, almost any place you could work. Sometimes these jobs, they will break your soul. Sometimes you almost feel like you got to step on somebody next to get, the next position so you can get a higher dollar, whatever the case may be. The best advice I could give you is live your life where you have very few regrets. You're not being mean and nasty to anybody. I am not, I never made it all the way high up in the total pole in any job I ever worked. But I can at least say this. I never did anybody dirty. I didn't step on anybody's neck. I don't have regrets. I could look people in the face. Now, there's a lot of people that can't look me in the face. But I could look people in the face knowing that no matter how they treated me, I took the higher road. And for that, my own integrity, I feel grateful. And a lot of jobs, there was decisions where I had to make to go left or the right. And I will say this, they claim, oh, we got a zero tolerance for retaliation. A lot of these jobs, if you do step up and speak, you are either openly or silently retaliated against. All I can say to people is keep your head up, because it's a lot sometime in the work environment. But if you get to survive this work environment, you built up some strong stuff in you. But people, no matter what you want in your career, whether you're in entertainment, you're in corporate America, whatever it is you do, all I can say is don't sell your soul to the devil, because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to get a refund. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts about, Terrence Howard saying, not me. Chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Let me know your thoughts.